Y'all want to talk about it, man?
Yeah.
Fucking Keefe D shit.
So what happened? So basically the Keefe D shit is he was in the whip of the car that supposedly shot Pop.
Yeah.
And he talked about that on Vlad.
He's talked about it a couple times.
Never mind. On different platforms.
I guess he's talked about it a couple times. We're talking about the Keefe D shit now.
He talked about a hell of shit.
Yeah, he had one from 2002, Seti Nash had pulled up for us yesterday where he was saying the same shit.
Yeah.
And it's like a 5 or 6 year old reenactment of
like
the whole
3
shit
million.
with him doing the voiceover.
And it's got like 3 million and something views.
So it's weird because Vlad is going to take heat for the fact that his interview kind of like created the blueprint for people to say that Keefe D did this shit. But at the same time, it's like, if you're Vlad and you're not a street dude and you're a big Tupac fan, what the fuck is wrong with you basically helping to solve this case? I'm not sure if the cops would necessarily agree that his interviews and stuff were so essential to them making this case. But to me, it just seems like that's kind of like, if you're Vlad and you're a Tupac fan and everybody's a Tupac fan over the world, I really think that Vlad deserves to be on the cover of Time or some shit for this. Because
For what? He didn't do
he
that.
helped solve the crime. Nobody was talking about knowing how this shit went down until Vlad basically got every single person involved with it to do an interview and talk about it.
2 things. Vlad got him to talk about it outside of the proffer statement openly.
Get some water.
You get what I'm saying? Remember, he couldn't talk about. You could talk about it when you do your proffer, but you don't have immunity. You can't keep on admitting.
Right, because he got caught for a drug case. So they gave him a proffer agreement. Basically, you tell us all this shit that happened and all these other situations, including the night that Tupac died. He tells him everything, but within the proffer agreement, they're not allowed to use that information outside of the proffer agreement. But then his dumbass, and it was very frustrating for somebody like Greg Kading, who was one of the cops who worked on this, who basically spent like his whole life trying to solve the Tupac murder and actually get it prosecuted. It was very frustrating for him to hear the story, realize that he was either the murderer or an accomplice to the murderer,
and he can't do
nothing about it.
He can't do anything about it. So he was itching for this moment while he playing around on the internet. But then it's also a clip of him saying that he has cancer and he has nothing else to lose.
Keefe D?
Yeah, if this is why he's doing this, like, it doesn't matter. They got better treatment for cancer in prison than they do on the street.
And to be fair, before he did the Vlad interview, he wrote a book. And he talked about all this shit. And when I watched the Keefe D interview on Vlad, he did not talk about all the shit that he said in the book. There was mad different shit that would be like super incriminating that Vlad brought up because it was in the book. And then Keefe D's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. And so Vlad will do a little cut in it and be like, well, in the book you said blah, 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 blah. And we got in the car with the guns and we did, like very specific details that he included in the book. So when I say Vlad deserves to be Time Person of the Year, I'm actually totally capping because he wrote a fucking book incriminating himself. I don't know if Vlad got anything out of him that was that much worse than what he put in the book.
What do you think the police want Vlad to do? Because I feel like they're dumb enough that they hit to go take the computers and shit, but Vlad won't have the hard drive or the raw footage. Maybe he said something that he wasn't supposed to say on the raw footage, or what you think they hit him for? Why would they?
Because in a court of law, there's always like stuff that seems extremely obvious to us, like the fact that if I post something on my Instagram story and you screen record my Instagram story, and then you say, "Look what Adam posted on his Instagram story," to us it's very obvious that that's legit.
But it's not. It's beyond reasonable doubt. It's not.
Yeah, to the court, I could then say that's not from my Instagram story, or that was from a different day, or like you can't prove that was on my Instagram story or whatever. So I feel like them having the actual hard drive with the actual video files could probably be beneficial to them. And also they're probably assuming that maybe some of the stuff was edited out. Now I know Vlad, and I know that he don't really do that, but a lot of other interviewers probably would, so they probably want to get their hands on the full thing. But he told him he's not going to cooperate because he is gangster OG DJ Vlad.
If they hit Adam's house, they're not getting a fucking hard drive. You're not gonna have a hard drive with all the footage at your house.
No, but like,
you know what I'm saying? You would have to, like, you're going to the wrong house. If you're going to Vlad's house for that, like, you should have thought harder about that. I'm not telling them to go anywhere else, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
what the fuck, bro?
I'm not. But like, why would you go to the dude who runs the company shit to go look for the hard drive? Knowing
Vlad, he probably has it uploaded to the cloud or some shit. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a hard drive in his house that has like every interview he ever did,
I had a Keefe D one at my house. That shit was legendary to him.
You got an interview?
No, I would say I wish.
Oh.
Who else? I know you wish he would have came up here.
Yeah, well, I wish I thought of that shit at the time that Vlad thought of it. I never
Like
would have
this.
thought of it.
Even after it would have been good.
Hey, I feel like everybody that does what they do at a high level always got a vault of some shit.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if that shit buried in the backyard, nigga, under
Mine's
the oak
mental.
tree.
I got some shit I can
You know what I'm
expose.
saying? It's somewhere just lying
shit
there,
show.
bro. For sure. Everybody does. I know it for a fact. Anybody that does something like this, you always got some shit that's sitting back in the archives.
Or maybe they wanted to question him so he could get on the stand. So when they are playing this and like, Vlad, did you know what I mean? They could cross-examine him during the trial.
So basically, he went to jail for something that the police already know he did.
Well, he's being charged with something that they basically knew that he did for a long time, but we still don't actually know that he did it. We don't know that he pulled the trigger, but we do know that he
didn't
went
pull the trigger.
and got guns. Well, he's saying he didn't pull the trigger, but we don't know because it's like there's only a couple people that could have pulled the trigger, and he's one of the ones that's rumored.
Yeah.
But either way, if you're an accomplice to a murder, that's a charge too. And
Yeah,
I
but
don't think
they
there's a
knew
statute
this
of
already.
limitations on that shit easy.
But as the big homie in the car, I doubt that he shot.
But it takes
He
a
was,
long.
he was Unc.
Yeah.
Like, you're not about to make Unc slide when there's
I mean,
three
that was-
young niggas
no,
in the
that
car.
was
and the
like-
one person who could tell us is Suge.
But that was 27 years ago.
Yeah.
He was a little younger back then. How old is Keefe D?
But
But he was still the OG of the crew, right?
27. He was still. That's like. That's
a
like
long time
Dub
ago.
being in the car. Like I was about to say, that's like me. Man. Let's not use me. Let's use Dub. Nah. That's like somebody 34, 33 in the car with some
Yeah,
19,
low-key, you
22
already
year olds.
OG when
and
you
all
like
that.
30 in the
did
hood.
This, allegedly, I done did this a million times, nigga. It's on you anyway.
That's
You got
like
to
if-
go ahead. You still earning your rep.
That's like if you heard like, oh, Baby Stone Gorillas and Adam 22 were driving around and somebody got shot. Who you gonna think did it? You're not gonna think I did it. You're gonna
22
think- Now, obviously, this doesn't really make any sense in the first place. But wouldn't you imagine that they're the ones that more likely to shoot somebody?
Before I hugged you or after?
I don't even know what you're talking about. What? Have a boner or something?
No,
The
no.
22.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. You were
Nah,
bricked
oh,
up.
yeah, I was bricked
I
up,
think so.
yeah.
You were bricked up. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It was, I would have thought it was them.
I was cooking with oil.
Nah, though. You know, I mean, it's obvious that he wasn't the one that put. Because if you did, I wouldn't give a fuck if it was a proper statement or not. I'm not about to put out no story about it if I shot the nigga.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not
I'm
about to
damn
put it
sure-
off on the dead
And
nigga
I'm
and
damn
nothing
sure
when I know I
not
really
about to
did
live
it.
in the same
and I'm
fucking town.
I
y'all
know,
know
right?
nothing of
Fucking-
it.
Oh, so they
retarded.
saying the person actually shot his
Excuse my
dad.
French.
Orlando Anderson, the nigga Baby Lane from Southside. The nigga from Southside Compton that they beat up in the club.
That was the stupidest
That's the
shit
government.
ever.
So allegedly, they went up to a room and called Puff. Puff said, Skip called Puff or Zip. His name is Zip.
I forget.
Zip. His name was Zip. The dude from New York that was the connect to Compton to the South Sides was Zip. Zip just happened to be at the fight too. So they all meet up. They eating. They like, this the time to cash in for the bag right now. So allegedly, this is what Keefe D. I'm just reciting what I seen in the interview because this shit is all like snitch shit. And he they like, we got some guns now. You can cash in. So they allegedly hit Diddy. Diddy said he got an M. Da da da. So after they slide, even though I don't see Diddy feeding into like somebody just beat your boy up. Why you calling me for $1 million to go kill him when y'all gotta go get back anyway? That's what I'm clearing Diddy with. You get what I'm saying? Like that, I feel like is a lie.
But if you feel like there's a like if I'm already gonna go shoot somebody, but I know there's this rich dude I could call, and keep in mind this is back in the day where nobody's thinking about their phones being tapped or whatever, and I could call this dude and just say, hey, let me get that $1 million if I go put this work in. Wouldn't you want to grab the bonus $1 million?
But don't you think the word about the fight then spread already? Tupac and them they got to a fight and they already you get
But
what
the
I'm
same
saying?
Word
day.
travels fast
But it's
on
the
that
same
strip.
day. Why would Puff have already heard about it? It's
There's
not
no
social
Instagram.
media era.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's
There
no
was a-
Instagram. Take
so
away
it's only-
Instagram.
yeah. So
Puff
it
might
was-
not find out about
yeah,
that for a
within
week or
few
two,
hours.
right? Or ever. You know?
But I don't just the way that the game
Take
works.
away
the way,
Instagram,
no,
nigga,
it's
change
the
his
way
whole
that dick
Yeah.
riding works. Even if Zip tell the people around them, like, don't tell them that Pac got into a fight. This probably why the money never got paid out. Once he seen the backstory, like, I'm not sending them niggas that money, nigga. They
Yeah,
just
no.
slid for themselves. I can see that going on, but when he found out he wasn't with the play, they might have called him and he was with the play, seeing no shit happen because he like, oh, he called back. He called us back like, that was us? Was that us? And then he hung up the phone. Like,
I like it because they always, the old heads always say, oh, this new generation all fucked up. They do everything for clout. They put everything online. This is such good evidence that you old motherfuckers do the exact same shit and way worse with a way more serious case. We're talking about one of the most high profile murders in American history.
Right.
Thank you.
And he got himself locked up for it. It's kind of like unbelievable.
Down the point
I
right
felt
now.
like he was trying to catch some, you know what I'm saying, some notoriety. He was trying to get on. You know what I'm saying? He wanted a little bit of clout. You know, clout's a hell of a drug.
He's King Von. He wanted to get credit for his body.
That shit backfired like a
He
motherfucker.
said that he was the only one alive that can tell the case.
Yeah, he
no
is,
Suge's not gonna tell it, and he has cancer. So this is why he's been openly taking these checks or whatever. He probably trying to take care of himself, live as long as possible off the money. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got no health care. And it's to the point he just said, if he go to jail, Reggie White's going to jail and Puff Daddy's going to jail.
Let me ask you this.
Made that very clear.
Hey,
Let
me ask you this. Is Keefe D a legend? Does killing the most famous rapper of all time earn you legend status? If he did it, or at least was involved in it.
Okay, is Eric Holder a fucking legend? No, nigga. The fuck
But I don't feel like legend has to have this positive connotation about it.
Oh, you mean the definition of a legend?
Yeah, like would you call him a legend?
No.
You don't think?
I can't call him
I
a legend.
wouldn't.
Not from taking, nah. Because they could have been got you
That's
niggas
a
smoked.
bitch.
They had the money then.
A legend
You get
is
what I'm saying?
an extremely famous or notorious person, especially in a particular field. I feel like within the field of killing rappers, Keefe D seems like a legend. He's notorious for sure.
No, the first one. Now,
Famous.
The first.
He's infamous.
He's the first one. He's the first definition.
A traditional story, sometimes popularly regarded as historical but unauthenticated. That's like a legend, like, oh, the legend of
he's
this,
the legend.
this white wall.
Because we still don't know.
That nigga in
it's still a
fantasy.
question mark. He's the only
I
one that
think
can say it.
legend
So
and
we have to
a-legend are
believe
two different
everything he
things.
says.
Hello, Reno.
Not giving us the raw, but it's a popular historical event. We know it's true.
But there's
we don't know if this story is.
All right, 051 Melly. Remo, is 051 Melly a legend? A street legend, yeah. He's legendary in his field because he killed a bunch of people. And I'm not saying that that's like a good thing to be legendary for,
No,
but it also
killing-
seems like he's a legend,
Killing
right?
a lot of ops is cool. Taking a famous rapper off the earth that's put on for our section
But
is
that was
hater shit.
Okay,
It's
that's your
only one
judgment
thing that
call
you
on
do.
who he killed. But at
you-
the end of the
it's
day,
strictly-
that was his op at that moment.
That wasn't his op at that. Well, it was.
That's how he felt.
It was. They just whooped his people.
Might not be
He
the
just
best
whooped his
reason
way
He's
out.
ever.
not a
MGM,
legend though,
nigga.
because what else have he served? All right, that was Tupac, nigga. What type of ops have you? What you got under your belt for real?
I feel like if Pac would have just got him up with him, it probably wouldn't land like that. But because they
packed
stomped
him
him
out,
out, they
yeah.
packed him out. Nigga, that nigga was on some other shit. Them niggas I heard they was really some
Then
of
the
them
way
niggas from that
Tupac was
section.
hanging out the sunroof after that shit,
Yeah.
like nigga,
Well, the
you
nigga, I
wasn't
guess,
trying to
that
be
he jumped
discreet.
Was a somebody, nigga, and really somebody from his section, nigga. And them niggas wasn't having it. Start riding around.
That's
Caught
like
that nigga.
unthinkable in this
No,
day
they
and
right
age.
went
off
to go
fully.
call. They allegedly they went to call
Damn,
Diddy.
I ain't
and
gonna
they
lie.
slid.
I ain't gonna lie. You can't. First of all, you can't do Eric and him. That's not the same thing because Eric shit, that was some weak ass shit. It's like killing a lady that never did nothing to
But
you.
you did it for $1 million after your boy got whooped. You had to call somebody else to put the
Right.
battery in your back, nigga. You didn't just
It's
go
fact.
slide off GP, Keyway. That's why I'm saying that. Like, if y'all would have just slid without calling the boy, that part of the story waters down the whole situation.
Not his
Of
move,
being a
not what he
legend at
did.
that.
though.
Yeah, like
Not-
I
nigga,
get
you
what
was
you
supposed to
said.
stump.
Not-
Like nigga, it's
not-
stepping time. They
Nigga.
just packed you out. Come on, cuz we going to go look for cuz. Fuck Diddy on the dead homies. Why I'm
That's
calling
real. That took
cuz?
your legendary status away right there when you
No,
didn't do that.
that just
That's
took away.
facts, homie.
That took away like your credibility. You know what I mean? That took away like you got good and bad legends. That you can't. You can be a good and bad legend. You got good legends where it's like this nigga did everything right and he went out legendary. Then you got bad legends who did all the fucked up weird shit. You feel me? But even on the bad legends, it's two sides. You know what I mean? That was your op.
Man, this nigga is Eric Holder and Cowboy in one. Nigga, fuck is you talk about? All in one. This nigga's trash.
I'm
nigga.
just gonna throw it out there. the definition of legendary so doesn't depend on them having done something good
or bad.
R. Kelly is a legend.
But you said
and if you take the music out of it, he's still a legend because he committed a series of legendary crimes that got documentaries made about him and stuff. Now, granted, the music helps a lot because if all you ever did was just a bunch of weirdo shit like that, then you probably wouldn't be a legend necessarily. But I mean, I feel like if you get extremely famous for your misdeeds, you still deserve the legend status. That being said, I have been known to give out the legend title way more loosely than most people. So I'm just going to acknowledge that.
But see, you saying 051 Melly, a street legend, like he killing ops.
Mm-hmm.
These niggas ain't... I can't speak about Eric. I just was just saying. Do you
He
view him
killed the biggest op.
like
it's like the trophy. You took the trophy out.
You're not the shooter. So you're not 051 Melly.
But he might be.
You're the play caller. But you're not even claiming that. Like, okay.
But don't you think that's why the cops arrested him? Because they think he was a shooter?
No, he conspired.
Yeah, he was a part of it.
He said that he handed the weapon to him.
That's what he said. But I feel like the cops are arresting him is at least in part because they think he might have really done it.
If the dude would have did it on his own recognizance, like, hey, the dude pulled out a gun out of his waistline and fired into the other car, that leaves me to just be a person in the car. You can say accessory to murder, but you can't prove accessory to murder because I didn't know what he was doing.
If we all in the
Now,
car,
if I tell you I handed him the strap, that puts me in a fucked up position because he couldn't kill the man without this strap.
Adam, just you.
He the quarterback of one of the, you got the quarterback and the receiver. The shooter was the receiver. He the quarterback. He gave him the ball. One of the biggest tragedies in motherfucking history.
And that's like us all being in the car. If I start shooting, nigga, and they know you was in the car, you getting something too. They don't give a fuck, bro.
You got.
But are they going to charge me 30 years later? I don't know.
No, you got some bread. You can get a lawyer to get you out of that.
Yeah, he might be able to do the same thing.
No bread though. I'm thinking that's just riding on me on a normal day, my nigga. Like it ain't about having bread at that point. Nothing. If that nigga's in the motherfucking car with us, I start shooting. He's going too.
How about this?
And if they know,
he white too.
How about this? You said that they killed the biggest op. Suge is alive.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
No, not the
Pac
biggest.
really don't got nothing to do with nothing. Cause you supposed to knock down the man.
That's what it was for then.
Pac from Oakland and New York, he just the nigga that can rap around this
Pac the one that Suge beat him up or Pac beat him up?
Suge and then whooped him and Pac just jumped in.
Yeah.
So they took his trophy. They took the trophy.
You get what I said? Yeah, you take the trophy. Oh no, definitely. You definitely
the money.
But at the same time, nigga, that's why I'm saying.
Probably was trying to get Suge, but you got the trophy instead.
You got the crown jewel.
But how do you look at this? A motherfucker. I can't say too much about that.
See, cool. To me, I ain't gonna lie. To me, I get it. He's not a legend, but to this definition, reading both of them, he's a legend.
Yeah,
to that definition, he's a legend.
He was trying to compare him to a 051 Melly type legend, a King Vine type legend.
Well, when we're talking about like being legendary for killing people, that's definitely different because we don't even know that Keefe D killed anyone. Yeah. And when I heard Greg Caden, the detective, breaking down Keefe D's character, he's basically saying he was a drug dealer, so he had a lot of money and he had a lot of influence on what was going on around there.
The play caller.
But he was not the killer, and that's where they say Orlando was very comfortable doing that kind of shit. So it makes way more sense.
And Orlando got beat up.
Realistically,
and Orlando's the one that got beat up. That's the principle.
And if you're a whole car full of dudes and you all want to kill the same dude, the guy who's going to pull the trigger is probably the guy who's the most comfortable pulling the trigger. The guy who's done this before and doesn't give a fuck,
you're
right?
Alive, right? You got to put your own work in. Huh?
Did they say they handed the strap to the other nephew first, the chubby dude, and Cuz was acting spooky, and Orlando took it off because shit.
The craziest, most demonic shit I heard Keefe D say was when he was talking about how Tupac looked like he was breakdancing when he got hit. I was like, that's some real
he was trying to go
shit.
Viral, yeah.
You making a joke like that,
nah,
my friend.
but I mean, niggas do be breakdancing.
That nigga still had
I look at it like this, right?
People always make that joke about somebody dies and they be dancing on the way out.
Because
niggas knew what they was doing, bro. Suge Knight is a big guy, bro. That Beamer, he got swallowed up in that Beamer, because he was so big. You know what I mean? How did he not get hit not one time?
They weren't aiming for him, I guess. He got grazed.
Because he was
grazed.
Bro, if you know you could for sure get one, you gonna drill.
Mind you, y'all driving.
You not if
and
you,
y'all pull up, so it's
listen,
car to car, nigga.
If you thinking kill and you ain't thinking shoot, you're gonna get your man and whatever else you can get. Let's say this is before 30-round clips. Let's say this was an 8-shot or a 6-shot. You get what I'm saying? Had they had that shit, everybody would have been dead in the car. They would have been sitting on top of that car, nigga.
Car was shot up
down.
pretty good.
What if PGF Nook was there? Would have been way different.
Aye.
Aye.
He